Why, hello there, Jacob here. And today I have not one, but two unboxings for you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have a twofer. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, yeah, I'll do kind of two separate videos there for those, give each of them their own video and just sort of, general thoughts and opinions. But first, let's go ahead and get to this bad boy. And this particular bad boy comes to us from Fanatics. And for those of you who may or may not know or have been around my channel for a while, when I unbox this thing has special meaning to me. I always say that every year when I get this sort of thing. But we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But first, there's a couple things I just wanted to quick touch up on, before we get into the Vikings season and stuff like that. First and foremost, congratulations on Kyle Rudolph's retirement. He retired as a Viking, officially hung up the cleats after, I think it was about 12 years or so. I mean, the dude just got it done at the end of the day. I mean, he was a security blanket for so many quarterbacks, like Matt Castle, Christian Ponder. Even had a good rapport with Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum. I mean, yeah, sure, he did battle some injuries that kind of not really derailed his career, but just sort of slowed down from the potential I felt he had. But he still was a very solid tight end for us for very, very, very long time. And again, kudos to you, Kyle Rudolph, and congrats on your retirement, buddy. Hope everything goes well, and good luck on your future endeavors. And also part 2, Josh Metellus has signed an extension that happened this morning. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Metellus has signed a 2-year, $13 million extension. And for that, I'm not necessarily going to say it, but I will say it. This basically all but spells the end for Harrison Smith at this point. I mean, it may or may not. I honestly don't know, but if I'm a betting man, this is probably going to be Harry the Hitman's last year in purple. But we'll worry about that when we get to it, especially because Josh Metellus kind of fits the Harrison Smith mold. I mean, he's one of those multi-purpose defensive players who you can use as a linebacker, you can use as a corner, you can use as a safety. I mean, he's good in man coverage, blitzes, I mean, you name it. I mean, and he's very young, too. I mean, he's finally developing and stuff like that, and I feel like the Brian Flores defense will have him and the rest of the safeties really flourish because we can actually utilize their strengths. Unlike Don Michel's defense, where basically you sat out 5 yards and just never even thought about rushing. But, yeah, again, congratulations to Josh Metellus as well on your 2-year, $13 million extension. A great piece to a very young and up-and-coming defense. Anyway, now with all of that out of the way, let's actually get to the main part of the video. And like I say, a little earlier, I hinted at this, but every year, the NFL does this thing called NFL Crucial Catch. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who've been around my channel for a while, you'll know exactly what this unboxing will be. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time. And also, again, wine vouchers and DoorDash coupons and stuff like that. But for me, this initiative has a lot of meaning for me because, well, I've had family members who have fought and battled cancer, breast cancer being the main one. And I know the NFL, it started off as the breast cancer awareness, but then over the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 years or so, it went from just breast cancer to all cancers. And boy, they have had some humdingers of a hat. Like, just some absolute gorgeous hats. And to this day, probably my favorite hat would be the 2020, just give me one sec here. This bad boy. The hat from 2020. I just love the design with the rainbow and stuff like that. And to this day, this is one of my favorite hats I have in the entire collection just because of the meaning of the tie-dye. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then last year's was also pretty nice too. But yeah. So, with all that said and done here, I decided to continue the tradition and get the 2023 Crucial Catch fitted, by the way. And this year, unlike years past, it feels like, every year, especially this year, I don't know what it is, but it's like they're doing like different hats for the different types of hats. Because, well, if you look at Fanatics and stuff like that, this is the 5950 fitted, which is usually my go-to hat because those tend to fit the best and stuff like that. As you can see here, it's basically an all-black hat, but it has the sort of, multicolored colors and stuff like that, signaling the different types of cancers and stuff. And for those, it's just like a basic black hat, does have the Crucial Catch on the back. But what makes this thing beautiful? Boom! The underbrim, which has so many different colors and stuff like that, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And it has the black guts with the black interior and stuff like that. And this particular bad boy is a made in Bangladesh. And boom, here it is. The 2023 Minnesota Vikings Crucial Catch 5950. And the reason why I say that is kind of, going back to the point earlier. This year, especially, they've come out with like a different hat for every style. And it's no different for the Crucial Catch hats because my favorite one would have to be the 950 snapback because it's basically this design, but the entire bill is that sort of multi-chrome color scheme and stuff like that. But unfortunately, new era snapbacks don't really fit my head the greatest, so I usually try to stay away from those. I will say though, Fanatics branded snapbacks do fit my head pretty nicely, so it's kind of a plus there, at least for the hockey season and stuff like that. But yeah, so that'll basically wrap up video 1. So until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day.